Now, one of the most frustrating aspects that you are going to have to live out in your life sometimes is people not understanding who you are. They don't get you. They don't understand you. And this is very difficult to be in this place because you could be feeling like you are as clear as day. Like you're not speaking Mandarin, you're not speaking Swahili, you're not over there speaking any other type of language. You speak in English, you're using clear words and everything. Like you're not using no big words. But it's like people they don't get you, they don't understand you, and you can't even for the life of you not understand why people don't understand you. You know what I mean? And oftentimes in general, what everybody does to a large degree is what we do is we project. And I always talk about this projection. I know a lot of people they hear about this, but this is a very important concept to understand. And what projection is, people in general, people they think that everybody else moves just like them. They in a way think or they assume that everybody else has the same type of mentality as them. They assume that everybody does things in a certain type of way. And when people run up against a person that's not fitting a mold or whatever the case may be, oftentimes either they reject that person and just they say, if this person doesn't act like me, they don't move like me, the person is just crazy. They don't get to know anybody. They don't even get remotely try to understand that something that's different. Because again, one of the components of human nature is when humans see things or they're interacting with things that's completely different, a good majority of people are immediately going to reject it. They're immediately going to demonize it. They're going to put it down because they don't understand it. And people, we, as people, we're afraid of things that we don't know. We're afraid of the unknown. That's why a lot of times, in terms of you think about this you think about this on a smaller scale. For a lot of people, it's difficult for a lot of people to get up and lead a job and then go start doing something that they know is more so suited to them because in doing something, quitting their job is security. They have a guaranteed check coming in. They have guaranteed money and whatever the case may be, even though they might not like this job, might not like the people, and it's killing them. But this is better for a lot of people, the security in comparison to the unknown. They can go over here and potentially make money. They could potentially follow, but it's a big risk. And so because of the fear of the unknown, a lot of people are gonna reject it and they're not gonna go that way. And this is not about condemnation. This is just human nature in general. So this is oftentimes, especially if you're a person that you operate that is considered to be different or not like everybody else, a lot of people are naturally going to reject you. It'll be you. Sometimes it'll be an individual that's walking here and fro, and you don't understand that you're different. You don't understand that like how you might not understand people's psychology again. Because if you are an individual, if you are different, more than likely you will want other people to be different too. You're accepting of other people, and it's like it could be vexing to you. You hate it so much that when everybody's doing the very same thing, when everybody's acting the very same way, for a person that's different, that is hell. That's hell to be around individuals or being around situations like this. And so you embrace different. You understand what I'm saying? You might have that type of mindset, but everybody else ain't you. They're not. And one thing that you'll find in your relationships, if you are a person that's different, again, because you don't think like everybody else, you're not going to move like everybody else. You're not going to do the same thing as everybody else. So sometimes the interactions that you have with people, you perceive it in one way, but they perceive it in a completely opposite way. And this disconnect of how y'all see life in general will oftentimes lead to you in some way, shape, or form being in the wrong, or you the one that's like you're going to be on the short end of the stick because again the majority does the same thing as everybody else, and if you're an outlier, people naturally will go up against you. They will push you away. They will reject you. Again, this is not necessarily because you're doing something wrong. Don't get me wrong. There are cases where you're doing things that people don't like, or they're like, nah, nah, nah. It's not necessarily because you're different. It's because you're doing something that they don't like, or whatever the case may be. Or maybe your behavior is off putting in this way, or maybe you're doing it could be anything. But that's not necessarily all the cases. You'll find that that's rare cases. With a lot of people, they will reject you because they don't understand how to handle you. They don't understand how to interact with you because you're different. They understand how to interact with people a certain type of way. Therefore, they don't want to. Again, it's hard for people to change patterns, change things that's always been like people don't like change. They don't like change at all. Oftentimes, the only times when people make changes or they have to embrace some type of change is when something significant or traumatic happens. Like for example, you think about when we talk about different wars that occurred in America. with 9/11, prior to 9/11, a lot of people were protesting and they did not want to go to a war over there overseas when America was good. When America is at peace, most people do not want to get up and go to war because another country is doing it or whatever the case may be. It oftentimes takes a traumatic event for people to be propelled to change. Like with 9/11, prior to 9/11, people didn't have to, I mean, they didn't want to necessarily go to war. After 9/11, people's motto was praise the Lord, but pass the ammunition. They was ready to go over there and bomb every doggone thing after 9/11, because it was an emotional hit. Same thing you think about like with Hiroshima and Nagasaki, or not even Hiroshima, but I'm talking well, prior to in the 40s or the 30s or the 20s when the World War II was going on and Adolf Hitler was going around doing his thing. Americans, FDR, the president, wanted to get involved in the war. Winston Churchill and these other countries, they were asking America to get involved. FDR, the president at the time, went to Congress and said, "Hey, we need to go to war to stop this dude." You know what Congress said? And the majority of the Americans at the time, absolutely not. Why do we need to get involved with that? That's their own problem. We're not in that war. We don't have anything to do with it. And so, as a result, FDR, the president of the United States, could not go into war. What occurred was the way that we got into World War II was because of Pearl Harbor, when the Japanese bombed the American airships or the ships over wherever Pearl in Hawaii, okay, killing about 2,000 plus people. With that event, the Americans, their lingo changed immediately because of this emotional reaction of the Japanese bombing Pearl Harbor. Then, after that event, again, the Americans at first, when there wasn't no Pearl Harbor, people was like, "No, we ain't getting involved. We don't want to go to war." After that, Congress and everybody and their mama said, "Praise the Lord, but pass the ammunition." We was ready to go into World War II. So change only occurs when something really abrupt happens, something traumatic occurs. Okay. In general, that's what it is. So people, they don't like change, and if you're a person that's different, you're considered to be like a change. They don't like that. They don't like that at all. When people don't understand something, they tend to reject it. And people, again, if they don't have the self-awareness, a lot of people do have the self-awareness, but this is another component because you got to understand this when you're different and when you're out there moving and just in general. Not only people like they will have sometimes people they don't have the self awareness. A lot of people lack self awareness in general. A lot of people do, and it's just natural when the world tells you that you need to be like everybody else. Naturally, you're going to start to reject yourself in a lot of ways because you're told to go do like everybody else. What I mean with that is you could be an individual that like to ride horses, but the environment that you're in says that's not cool to ride horses. So people, they will go with the environment, what people are saying, and then they will reject what they actually really want to do, aka riding horses or something like that, to go with the crowd because they don't want to be ostracized or anything like that for what they actually like. So they're naturally going up against themselves. If they're doing it for such a long time, they might actually forget that they actually really like riding horses, or they've been going against themselves for so long that they're afraid to go and actually go do something that's different because they know what the reaction is going to be from everybody else on this side because they already said that is lame or is weird or whatever the case. So this is what I'm talking about, where people, they will, over time, they've been investing so much into the group that you're naturally going to lose yourself. And so people, they don't do a lot of self-reflection. They don't do a lot of that stuff. And so with that being said, again, when people don't understand something and they think they see you and you're different and stuff like that, it's like not only sometimes do people, they reject it, they really want to go against it too. Sometimes it's like people don't like it because it's like you're too strong by yourself. Like in you yourself, you might get more accolades. Like you might like it's a weird thing because on one hand, you'll be rejected for being different, but on the other hand, it's like you're also being praised. Like you're also and like you're set up at a certain mark, and because you're so different, you will have a lot of people that actually like you or gravitate you. It's a weird paradox. Like they don't want to be with you, but at the same time they do. So it's like this push and pull. And so some people, they don't even understand that half of that the battle that they got with you is they're upset that you're authentic and they're not authentic or not being authentic. Some people, they don't understand that. Some people do, but a lot of people, they don't understand, and they might have a certain feeling towards you because what you do is natural. It hits a certain type of way. They don't do it in the very same vein. What they do it well, but because they've been following the crowd, they don't have their own spin on it, if that kind of makes sense. So it's not as potent as when you do it. And some people might have some type of vitriol or anger towards you. Again, that doesn't mean that you're completely left off the hook and that you don't have to work on yourself and you don't do that stuff at times where it's justified why people don't want to mess with you or something like that. I'm not saying that, but I am saying that you got to understand the component where it's also an ego battle, with people. Again, people want to feel superior, and so they just don't want, like, when something is coming in, especially if it's different and they don't get it, and especially if maybe you might get some type of praise or whatever. People are going, they're going to naturally go against somebody who is being different in general. You know what I'm saying? But with all that being said, with you as an individual, if you are moving out there different, again, what you'll come to realize in time is that people really don't know you. They don't know you, and you'll realize that people don't look at you; they're looking through you. They're not never ever looking at you. They're looking through you. This is why oftentimes people will completely, vastly underestimate you. You know what I mean? They don't think you're too swift. They don't truly get to understand who you are as an individual. Because again, with people in their egos, they think in the way that they do things is better than anybody else. Like they want to think that in their head. Even if clear evidence is showing something contrary, when people, they don't work on themselves and they don't truly know who they are as an individual, what again, they have to go off of societal standards. And so as a result, when somebody is coming in doing something different, they have to, like, in their head, they need to be better than everybody else. So naturally they're going to go against this individual up over here. You understand what I'm saying? And so with that being said, I'm telling you, they will go against you, and they're not going to look at you. They're going to be looking through you. People, they want to, when you're interacting with people, people don't see who you are. They see what they want to see. Again, this is why I always keep on bringing up, if they only operate primarily off the ego and the pride, they don't really be working on the other side. They don't really work on who they are. If they're continuously going with the crowd, they're not looking at you, they're looking through you. They think to a certain degree that you think just like them. So when you're doing things that's opposite of what they're doing, they think that means that you're, again, in their head, they're stronger than everybody else. They're better than everybody else. So naturally, you're the very opposite of them. You're weak. You're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. And so as a result, when you're interacting with people, they won't understand why you do the things that you do. They won't get it, and they will naturally start to look at it in a negative way, because they know what they're doing is all positive. They know what they're doing is right. So you must be the one that's doing something wrong when you're doing something opposite of what they're doing. They won't be looking at you. They're going to be looking through you. They don't know you. They think that they know you, but they don't. They think that they understand what you're doing, but they don't. They don't get it. They don't even have a shred of a clue. But the thing is, you'll have a leg up. You're going to go through trauma, trials, and tribulations with people when you're different and you do things different. You just got to understand that that's just the nature of the damn game. You understand what I'm saying? When you're doing something different, a lot of people ain't gonna be going on board with that. People will go against you. Your own people will go up against you, and it's just that damn simple. But you got to get the mental fortitude. You got to get the toughness, the mental toughness, to understand that this is what's going to come your way. That doesn't mean that you completely get up and switch, because oftentimes what will happen is people, again, there's a good subsection of people, they know damn well that they feel like you're better than them. That's what they feel. They project what they feel. They project it onto you and try to make it seem as though that is you. Some people lack self-awareness, so they don't realize that they're doing that. They really do think that you're the problem, but what it is you're a mirror and you're reflecting back to them. So the people that are self-aware, it's like I don't know if you ever seen these like these animal videos. Have you ever seen an animal video when a dog or something like that, or a gorilla, when they first time see themselves in the mirror, they like freak out and they're trying to go fight the mirror thinking it's another animal? You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's how people are who lack self-awareness. They see themselves in you. They see a mirror reflection of you, and then they want to go fight it. But they don't recognize that it's actually them. And they kind of like, that's what their projection will do. Whereas other people who are very much self-aware, they understand it's not you. They know they're the type of animal. They're like, they'll walk up to the mirror. They understand it's a reflection. They understand that it's not it's not another person that looks just like them on the other side. It's a reflection of who them. So that they will know that, and they will go harder after you and the people that lack self-awareness. And with the people that lack self-awareness, they haven't taken the time to truly understand why they do the things that they do. You understand what I'm saying? So they're projecting. That's what that projecting will do. They think that you are the problem. One half that lacks self-awareness, they truly do think that you're the problem. They don't realize you're a mirror reflection. And the other half, they know you're a mirror reflection, and then they want to break the mirror, aka they want to break you. You understand what I'm saying? So, but with all that being said, they don't see you. They're seeing right through you. And that doesn't mean that these people have a perceptive eye. It doesn't mean, because there's a lot of people like A lot of people who are real with themselves, they can see manipulation from a mile away. They can see through people. They can see through people's fake facades and all that stuff. They can see through people. I'm not saying that these people have that perception. What I'm saying when I say that they're seeing through you, they are looking at things that fulfill their ego and makes them feel better about themselves in life. That is what they're looking at. That's what they see. They don't see you. That's what I'm saying when they're looking through you. They see a reflection that they want to see, that they want to hear, that they want to. They're not looking at you. And this contributes to the reason why people really don't know who you are. They don't have a shred of a clue. You'd be so surprised. I'm telling you, you'd be so surprised the amount of people that you could have known for years, years. They don't know a damn thing about you. They think that they do, but they don't. And one day they will realize that, and you'll realize that too, but they don't get you. They don't understand you. They think that they get you. They think that they understand you. They think they understand all the motives and the reason why you do certain type of things. They think they understand, and they don't. They don't. This is oftentimes why these people, especially if they're going up against you, they will always fall into a pit hole. I mean, a pit. They will always fall into graves while they're around you because their ego and their pride blinds them to reality. Their ego and their pride blinds them completely to what reality truly is. One of the easiest ways, and I'm not saying you should do this, but people, they be doing this all the time, especially manipulative people. One of the best ways to manipulate people is to flatter their ego, flatter them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, because they go blind. And I'm not saying you should go out there, but sometimes you gotta maneuver in a certain type of way. You gotta, when you spot people, sometimes you gotta like have the wisdom and the wherewithal to understand how to handle people without having to sit there and tell them like how you're going to handle them. You know what I'm saying? You don't go to a fool and tell them how you're going to. A fool is not going to care. A fool is not going to have the wisdom of the wherewithal to understand these things. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just let certain, you gotta make assessments about people in your head. It's not to say that you're judging them, but you understand, okay, I gotta handle this person this way. I gotta handle this person. It's like animals at a zoo. You don't handle a lion the way that you will handle a giraffe. You don't handle a turtle the same way that you will handle a pack of wolves. You got to handle these people differently. And it's based on their nature. It's based on their behavior. It's based on these things. So with foolish people or people who only operate in pride and ego, you understand you don't go at them with logic and reason, because going back and forth with these people with logic and reason, they're not seeing that. Again, they look through you. They are looking at it in their head. They have to think that they are the best thing since sliced bread. They have to do that thing. Why? It's because they don't have the inner core. They don't be working on themselves. When people are excessive in pride and pride and ego is not all bad. I always say that there's a balance, but the people that use it at a destructive level, they need external validation in any way, shape, or form. Even when the evidence is not truly there, people, they want to see what they want to see that makes themselves feel better. They don't have a true inner core. They don't. You might have a true inner core, so you might move in a more humble spirit. Why? It's because it doesn't matter what the external is doing. I'm not saying this doesn't matter, altogether. Before, a lot of times, it does not necessarily matter so much what the external is doing onto you. It doesn't change the fact that you are who you are. You understand what I'm saying? But with people who are egotistical and whatever the case may be, they only have the external validation. They don't have that inner core. They don't have that inner knowing. They don't know who they truly are. You understand what I'm saying? And so they look out to the world for validation. Even when the validation is not really there, they look for it and they will see it in their head that it's there. If that kind of makes sense. So when you're doing things for them, when you're helping them, you're around them, people in their head that solely operate off of ego, or their ego and their pride is out of whack, they're looking at it as the only reason why you would be doing anything for them is because of how great they are. They're Jesus 2.0. If they're looking at it as, well, if you did something good for me, that means that I'm amazing. Because in their head, they're thinking the only time when they would do something like how you're doing, like how you would come through for people and stuff like that, they thinking in their head, the only time that they did that is when they was like head over heels in love, or they were just under somebody's thumb or manipulation or something like that. They know when they were doing the very same things that they were not in a position of power. They were not. They knew that they were, and then they got hurt, or they got jaded, or something happened where they were like, oh, that's a naive way of moving. That's a bad way of moving. They're like looking at it as, oh, and another thing is, they might have had other people in their lives that was doing the same things. Again, it's all relative, but like when those people are doing the same type of action that you might have been doing, they're looking at it as the only reason that person was so wrapped around their finger. That person was doing this because of this reason. That person was doing, but it's all reasons that like aggrandize them. So they don't look at it from the perspective of who you are and that you do things because that is just who you are. They're looking at it from a perspective of you're only doing it because of how great they are. They're Jesus 2.0. They're walking on water, turning water into wine, feeding thousands, bringing the Lazarus back from the dead. This is what these people think in their brain. Their delusional brains that they're Jesus 2.0. And the only reason you're treating them that way is because they're Jesus 2.0. It's not because of you, it's because of them. This is what I'm talking about, where they're not looking at you, they're looking through you. They don't know who you are. They don't know. They think that the actions that you make, you might move in a certain type of way. You might have godlike traits, like might have some type of kindness, humility, or whatever. You have some type of compassion. You out there helping people. You're trying to look out for people. You got love for people, so you'll come through for people. But people in they delusional ass brains, they don't look at it from that perspective. A lot of people in the world in general, the world works completely opposite of how God will work. Okay, and as a result, when people are kind, a lot of people when they're kind, when they're showing some type of empathy or whatever, humility, it's fake. It's not real. It's not real at all. Oftentimes they will either use that stuff to flatter themselves or they flatter other people, or they're doing it in a way because they're not in the strong position. They're not in the most dominant position, if that kind of makes sense. In a certain way, in a certain degree, they need to put on certain appearances. And they understand when they're acting kind, acting this way, acting that way, it's not real. And they know that they're in a position where they're trying to smooch up and get stuff out of people. They're not in a dominant position. They're in a subordinate position, because the very same individuals, when they are in a dominant position, when they are the ones that's on top and they don't need to really get anything out of anybody else, they'll become extremely disrespectful. They'll become completely opposite of all the godlike traits and of that they were acting like. They're extremely arrogant. They're not humble in any way, shape, or form. They don't have confidence. They're arrogant. You understand what I'm saying? It's all about them. It's all about them. These people, when they in a position of power, when they feel like they're in a position of power, they show their real hand about who they are. When people have power in general, this will a lot of times bring out the inner core of who they truly are. When they're out there in the world, they have to be nice. They can't go to work and be disrespectful with their boss. They can't go out and be disrespectful with certain people or do certain things to people that's in a position of power. Absolutely not. In general, people will respect the person because they have power. They don't respect the person on the general principles. They be respecting people because they got power. Like they'll treat Barack Obama one way, and then they'll treat a janitor on the street like not a janitor, but a hobo on the street a completely different way. Or heck, you even just say a janitor. Let's just say a janitor. They would treat Barack Obama one way, and then they would treat the janitor a completely different way. And the thing is, it's not like Barack Obama did anything for these people, and whatever the case. And it's understandable that you give Barack Obama some type of respect, but it's more so important like the disrespect that you'll give. If people they will give that disrespect to the janitor because they feel like they got more power than the person. They don't give that disrespect to Barack Obama. It's not because they like truly respect. They respect the power that he has, and they understand that he has influence in a lot of ways. So they're going to respect that person or Barack Obama is because they understand that Barack Obama in some way, shape, or form has the power to come back at them. But they'll treat the janitor a completely different type of way. That is what depicts a person's character when they're in a position of power. When they have the power to do right, what do? When they have the power, it's not when they don't have the power, it's when they do. So with all that being said, when they're showing those godlike traits, they know that is fake. They know that they're in a subordinate position. They know that they're trying to get things out of people. They know that they don't have as much pull. I mean, and again, this could be confusing a little bit because you might even have like people, like even like a senator or president or somebody who's running for office. They still have to pretend to be nice because in a way they still need the people, even though they're in a more powerful position than the people. When it comes to election and it comes to certain times, they still need the people's vote. They're at the mercy of the people, if this still kind of makes sense. They're not in a dominant position. But when they are, they don't give a damn. They don't give a damn at all. They're going to do whatever they want to do. They're going to talk about it however. They don't have respect for people. They only have respect for people when they feel like the person has more power than them. So when they're using those godlike traits of kindness, empathy, humility, this, and this, it's fake. It's not real. It's not real at all. And they understand they're doing it only because they're in a subordinate position. So when you're doing it, they think that you think just like them. They're projecting. They think that you think just like them. You move just like them, that you act the same way just as them. And the only reason why you're being nice to them, you're being kind to them, you're being humble with them, you're being this, and this, it's not because of the God because of the God in you. It's not because that's truly who you are. It's because you're in a weaker position than them. That's what they think. And so they think that you're only doing it is because they're amazing again. You see what I'm saying? Like they think that you're only giving them respect because they're amazing. crazy. They're Jesus 2.0. They thinking if you didn't have it, if you did, if you had the power, you'll be disrespectful just like how they'll be disrespectful. This is what they think in Ape Skull. This is what people be thinking. This is what I'm talking about. Where they don't look at you, they're looking through you. They don't actually see you. They see what they want to see. They see what makes them feel better about themselves. This is what they see. And so again, this could be very aggravating because you could be doing things and you don't understand why you're getting certain reactions out of people. You don't understand like how you being genuine with people, you keeping it real with people, and these people they think whatever. You don't understand like what's going on, you to a certain degree, because again, you even in your head, you'll be projecting the positive things. You'll be projecting who you are into other people. You know that when you're doing stuff is genuine. So you to a certain degree, and this could be and sometimes you just gotta take the cake and understand like sometimes in your life you was naive, okay? You was naive. You thinking like, okay, if I do right by people, they'll do right by me. If I do this towards people, they're gonna do it right back to me. Cause that's how I know. That's how I move. That's how I know. I know if I got secrets and stuff like that, and somebody tell me their secrets, I got enough integrity. I'm not about to go tell everybody they doggone secrets. I'm not about to do this, and that. I'm not about to do this, and this. It's because that's just like that. I don't think that's right. That's not your core character. That's not who you are. That's not what I mean. Your godlike traits and things of that nature. You're doing that because it's genuine. It's not because of whatever. You're gonna treat the president and the janitor the exact same way. It's like you'll give respect when respect is due. Don't get me wrong, but it's like again, it's not like you about to sit there and disrespect the janitor and you ain't gonna get that same type of disrespect to Barack Obama. If I'm gonna be disrespectful to Barack Obama, I'm also gonna be disrespectful to the president. Everybody gonna get it the same way. I'm not about to treat, but people they pick and choose. The people of the world, this is people of the world. They pick and choose who they gonna respect based off of power. Who has more power? When they're using their godlike traits, like when they're being kind or humble or this or that, for a lot of people that is fake. It's not real. It's fake. And so they're thinking and they know that they're using it only because they have to use it to a certain degree. They don't have the ability just to go out there and do whatever they want because they're not in that big of a position of power, or at least they need the people at some level. And so as a result, they're only doing that for a means to an end. On the other hand, when they're actually in a position of power and they don't have to respect the people around them, they have the power to do whatever they want, they'll be uber disrespectful. It's all about them. A true core character comes out. That's just what it is. And so when you're moving out there in that world, this is one of the major components that you truly got to grasp and get up under your belt to understand this, that people don't move like you. Everybody's not like you. Everybody don't have the same type of integrity like you. Everybody does not look at those godlike traits the same way. This is oftentimes why you have to very much protect those godlike traits. You have to protect what you give. You a giver. You thinking out there, oh yeah, I give. Give. You really don't care. And it's like, again, this is genuine. You don't care. I give. I don't necessarily need it. Like I actually like giving stuff to people. Like I have no problem with giving. You know what I mean? But people of the world in their head, they thinking that they're manipulating you. They thinking that they're getting over on you. They thinking that they're stealing from you. They're robbing you. That they're playing you. People are so backwards. It's ridiculous. And again, in their head, they're thinking the only reason why you're giving is because they're amazing. They're Jesus 2.0. They got you to a point where they got you on a hamster wheel and you're just giving because they're so smart. They're so clever at bamboozling you and da 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 da. They don't grasp the concept that might be just who that person is. Some of these people don't. Some people do, and they feel like they can take advantage of that. Okay, don't get me wrong. Not everybody like this. Again, there's a good subsection of people. They're very much self-aware, so they understand you are a giver, and they want to play you, and they want to get over on you. There's other people that don't realize that you're a giver or that you give, and they think it is just because how amazing that they are that you're doing anything for them. Because they know when they were in the same position, it's because they were head over heels, or like they had the uber respect, or whatever the case may be, that they was in whatever situation, whatever relationship of whatever kind that they were with a person where they was doing the exact same actions as you. They know that they were not doing it. They were doing it from a place of naivety, naivete. I don't know if that was, but they wasn't doing it from, they wasn't doing it from a place of strength. That was what they were thinking in their head. And so oftentimes this is why these people, they just make a series of bad moves. They let their ego and their pride blind them to reality, and they keep on falling into grave after grave after grave after grave. Because a lot of these people, they don't learn, they don't self-reflect, and the reason why they don't learn, they don't self-reflect. and they don't get better in life is because they're super prideful, egotistical. They think when people are extremely prideful and egotistical, they think that they're Jesus. Again, they think they're Jesus 2.0. They make no wrongs. They don't do anything wrong. They don't sin. They don't. Everything that they do is right. Everything. It doesn't matter what it does. So there's no room for learning. There's no room for growth. That's why God said He can't use a prideful person, because a prideful person think that they know everything. You can't get through to a private person, a prideful person. They don't care. They thinking that everything that they do is they think they got the Midas touch, and that everything that they do it turns to gold. Everything they touch turns to gold. This is what they think in their head, and so there's no room for improvement. There's no room for reproach. There's no room for understanding growth. So these people, they keep on going to the same cycles over and over and over and over and over and over again, and keep on falling into doggone graveyards. I mean, not graveyard, but keep on falling into their own graves of their own making. You be trying to reason with these type of people, try to talk to these people, try to get through to these people, but again, they're not listening to you. Again, people be thinking, even if you're trying to reconcile with them, trying to work on some problems with them, trying to do whatever, they're not looking at it because you want some type of you're trying to fix the relationship. And again, this is where you could be naive as an individual to a certain degree. They're not looking at it from the place where that you're trying to give them chances before the last day, before you stop giving chances. They don't see it like that. They see it as the only reason why you're trying is because they're amazing. They see it as the only way that why you're trying to keep on building a bridge or working on things with them is because they're amazing. They're not looking at it from the perspective of you're giving them a chance. You're giving them the ability to do something right before the last time that you stay, before the time that you say it's a done deal. People don't even think that you got it in you because they're not looking at you. They're not looking at you. They're looking through you. They're not looking at you. They don't know you. They don't know you. They think that they know you. They're looking at their damn self. They looking and they're hearing and they're seeing only what they want to look and hear and see. This is again why they keep on falling into graves of their own making, and they don't ever. They just keep on doing it. They live a life of a fool. They have no wisdom. They have no understanding. They don't. This is why they keep on making the same mistake over and over. And it's not about judging people. It's not about putting people down. But these people can be so damn corrosive in your life. They can be extremely corrosive. You understand? And then one day when you wake up and you realize, okay, this is what the situation is, you realize people ain't going to change. You can't force the damn person to change. It doesn't matter how much you come out your mouth and try to talk to people and try to help them. It doesn't matter what you do for people. It doesn't matter how many times that you're trying to work on something. It doesn't matter. If people want to be who they want to be, they're going to be whatever they want to be, period. Point blank, period. You can't do nothing with that. If people want to move a certain type of way, they're going to move that way. If people want to act a certain type of way, they're going to act that way. You realize you can't do a damn thing. You can't change nobody else except for yourself. And then when you get to that level and you get to that understanding, it's just oftentimes where you have to start to develop that callous, cold-hearted side of you in order to live in a world. And the reason being is because when you're around these type of individuals, again, they're not looking at you, they're looking through you. So these people, some of these people will try you in so many ways. It might not, like, they'll try you in certain ways. I'm not saying physical, but like a person will try you by doing something or saying certain type of way, or maybe they messing with somebody, or they try you in so many different ways where it's uber disrespectful, and they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They're not doing these things by accident, but they're trying you, and they're trying you from the perspective is they think that they can get over on you because they're looking at these godlike traits and say, oh yeah, this is the one I can get over on. They're not looking at you, they're looking through you. This is why when you cut these people off cold, when you cold-hearted with it, you extremely callous with these people, like you're not giving them a budge. These people, they don't know nothing from that. Like they are like sitting there and looking at you as if you're like a you're a Chinese manuscript or something like that. You're hieroglyph, you're Egyptian hieroglyphics. Like they can't solve you. You are a crazy Sudoku puzzle or Rubik's cube. This is how they look, like you're something super complex. They can't understand you because they're thinking that you're one way when you were never that way. What they're thinking in their head is they were thinking that you were something that they wanted you to be. What their ego and their damn pride was making them feel better about themselves. That is who they thought you were. That's why when you're showing people something completely different, they're like, who is this? Harpo, who be this nigga? Who is this person? Who is she? They don't get it. They don't get it. They don't because they've never known you. I'm telling you, you'll be so surprised how many people, they don't know a damn thing about you. They really don't know you. They could be by you every day for 25 years and they don't know a damn thing about you. They think that they do, but they don't. They don't understand. And then they get in their feelings when you get real callous and cold hearted with them, because it's like, I'm not about to play no games with you. Either I'm in or I'm out. Sorry, either I'm in or I'm out. I'm not about to play games with people. I'm not about to do all. I'm not about to go back in this back and forth. But people think you about to go do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, because, and another thing is because you might have given chances. And again, this in their head is evidence that you're only doing these things because they're so amazing. And sometimes, again, this is where, and you as an individual have to take accountability, because maybe you were giving them chances, way too many chances that they needed. But oftentimes, you just got to understand, give yourself some grace that you make mistakes in life, and that sometimes you got to go through hell to understand the value of peace. Sometimes you got to go through your low times to understand how to handle people in situations and things. Everybody has been a fool at one point in time in their life, so you shouldn't sit there and beat yourself up for because you made foolish choices in your past, or you made choices that you're not proud of, or whatever the case may be. And you're looking at things now from your healed perspective, from your healed self, from a position that you're now on the other side of the mountain, and you're looking back like, dang, why did I make those mistakes? This is where you got to understand, you got to give yourself grace. You got to give yourself, because people of the world is never going to give you grace. They're going to sit there and laugh at you, try to talk down on you, even though these bastards is doing the exact same thing as you, if not worse. They've made even worse. The thing is, they just don't know you just don't know their business. People that, because they hide these skeletons. They don't go. They gonna go to your closet and look through your closet and try to gear out all your skeletons and put them on public display. And you're not even trying to hide your skeletons, but this is what these type of people will do. Again, they try to cut you down so they can build themselves up. This is egotistical, prideful people. And these people, when you go to their closet, there's nothing in there. It's because all their damn bodies is buried under the damn crawl space, like they're John Wayne Gacy. They're out in the the backyard. They've been throwing them all over the doggone place, like they're John Wayne Gacy. This is why their skeletons are not in their closet. But nevertheless, these people will be going through even more. It's just they're hiding it. You know what I'm saying? Because they're putting on an image. They're putting on a front. They got to get everybody to think that there's something they're not. Why? It's because when everybody think that there's something they're not, they're getting the external validation from people. They cannot live without external validation. They cannot exist because they don't have an inner core. It's because they don't work on it. You can live without the external validation. You can live without all this stuff on the outside. It's because you have your internal core. You got God. You know what I'm saying? But people, if they don't have that, they need the world to validate them. So they're going to hide their calamity. They're going to hide what they're going through. But if they can find somebody and they see that that person is going through something, they will put it on public display. And the only reason why they're doing it because it makes them feel better. It makes them feel better to see everybody else attack somebody and tear somebody down. That stuff makes people feel better. They're looking at other people's lives and they live a life of comparison. Yet again, when people have their internal and they work on their internal and they work on themselves, they don't compare themselves to everybody, not in an unhealthy way. They don't compare themselves because they know that they're different in some way, shape, or form. And when you're different, you understand that you know who you are. But with people of the world, they don't know who they are. Again, like I said at the beginning, they've been running from themselves from the very beginning. And it's not to condemn people. It's not to talk down or nothing like that. It's just natural. This is the damn devil's domain. The devil wants everybody to be the same, whereas God actually gave people to be different. He gave them the ability to be different. But this is the damn devil's domain, okay? So that everybody is going to be the same because everybody could be manipulated and moved and functioned in the same way. You understand what I'm saying? And so when people, they've been spending their whole life trying to be like everybody else, they naturally were going against who they were. They've naturally neglecting who they are. They've been naturally doing these things. So they don't truly know who they are. The only time that they feel good in life is not internal validation like you might have. It's the only validation that they get is the validation of how the world says that they're amazing. And again, one of the ways that the world says that they're amazing, they compare themselves to everybody else. They're good as long as everybody else around them is lower than them. You can never be better than these type of people. This is why when you've had certain individuals in your life, maybe at one point in time in your life, you wasn't doing that hot and people, they were encouraging, oh, you should do better. You can bop, and we want you to do better. And then you kept on getting better and better and better and better. And people was cool to a certain degree when you was getting better and better and better. But the time that the people had a problem with you was when you started to go a little bit above them. Didn't like that. So they got to cut you down. They got to pull you down. You think you better than somebody. You think, well, who you think you is? Like, you not that person. Like, who you think you is? You need to come back down here. They will pull you back down. They don't like that type of stuff because they're living their life by comparison. As long as you're lower than them, they're good. But the moment that you go above them, they feel terrible. They have to be a big fish in a small pond. People like this, they surround themselves around people that they secretly, they might say this out loud, but they secretly feel like they're better than everybody else around them. They're smarter than everybody else around them. This is why when you're different and you're coming into these atmospheres, people who have the self-awareness and they understand these things, they will hate your guts because you're authentic, that you're not like, in a lot of ways, you're now the big fish in the pond. Now you're the brightest star in the room now. And these people was living their life by comparison. That's when, again, when these people, their fake empathy, their fake humility, their fake whatever goes completely out the door, because the real deal came in and they got to tear you down. And so what these people will do is they try to get other people who are not aware, or they have some type of animosity, and because you're different, it's easier to isolate you and get you away from people. They will get other people to join the bandwagon to try to tear you down. This is what these people will do. Is because the real damn deal just walked into the door. Don't like that. They can't have that at all. They got to cut you down. They got to tear you down. They got to make it seem as though you're whatever. When the truth of the matter is, yet again, they're projecting. They're trying to tear you down because they're living their life by comparison. As long as you were not in the picture or somebody else, as long as they felt like they was the biggest fish in the pond, they was good. They was good. They was humble. They was kind. There was this, and this. But the moment somebody else came up in the doggone picture and that person starts to succeed them, starts to get above them, oh, hell no, we can't have that. We can't have that at all. They're now going to have a lynch mob come up after you. And people looking at you like you're the problem, like you're a terrible person, like you're this, you're that. And this is what I'm talking about, where you have to understand the internal portion, and that understand that like your difference is not a bad thing, because the world will try to beat you down. Again, with people, the reason why they come at you the way that they do is, again, they only live from the external validation. So they're the king or the queen of external validation. That's what they are. And so as a result, they're thinking they can break you down by removing all your external validation. And what I mean with that is try to get you fired, try to get your spouse or whatever to break up with you, or whatever the case may be, or do something foul with your spouse or whatever, get your people to turn against you, get everybody else to turn against you. They're trying to get anything that will hold you up on the external. They're trying to tear you down to nothing, and they will succeed. But the fact of the matter is, they'll realize they still can't break you. Even when they break you and you go all the way down, they realize they only broke you, and then you rose up like a phoenix from the ashes because of God. You understand what I'm saying? Like, God always had your back and everything like that. But even outside of that, all they did was break the outer shell. Now they made you into a doggone beast out here in these streets. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they only broke the outer shell, but they thought that they was going to break you and get you down completely, because they know that the very things that they're doing towards you, if they go through it, they're done deal. They're not strong. They're weak. They don't have it's all about the illusion. This is what these people are about. The illusion. Okay. And again, they have to be delusional to a large degree to invest in this delusion. They have to get other people around them to invest in this illusion. Their power is always just the illusion. This is why they have a problem with you. This is why they don't look at you. They're looking through you, because if they're looking at you and truly seeing you for who you are and everything like that, and actually taking in your difference and understanding the value of it, that inherently will start to go against a person who truly don't have an interior, because they know they faking. They know that they're not whatever they're trying to claim, and they out there to claim that they are. They know they're not that. And so if the real deal comes in, that destroys them. They can't have that. They got to tear you down. They got to tear somebody else down. They got to tear them down. Cannot have that. They're not looking at you. They're looking through you. They will look at things. They will take your silence for stupidity. And they're not looking at it from the perspective that there's great wisdom in silence. You're not speaking out of fear. You're not speaking because you're stupid. You're not speaking because it's silly to do so. It's not a wise thing to go out there and keep on talking and going back and forth with the fool. It's not a wise thing to go and try to prove people and tell people that you're something you're not, trying to fight for your name when people have already clearly condemned you. That will be silly on the person's part who's out there trying to prove things. People will sit there, and if you over there trying to prove something to people, or try to get people to believe a narrative, or try to get people to see your point of view and try to point out these liars and stuff like that, people will look at you as the damn fool. Half of these people, I'm telling you, already know you telling the truth, and they don't care. They're still going to go up against you. Another good portion, they thinking that you actually did it, because if you didn't do it, why are you over here trying to convince everybody that you're doing it? You know what I'm saying? You're in a lose-lose position. You fight and you fight and you fight, and the only thing that you're doing is you fighting, you digging. It's like you in quicksand, and all you're doing, you moving, you trying to get out the quicksand. The more that you move, the deeper that you get sunken into. And these people, that's the king and the queen of the external, the king and the queen of the external validation. They understand these things. That's why they put you in positions to get you caught up in that way. But again, they don't know you. They don't get it. They don't understand it. They don't get grasp the concept of silence and the wisdom and the strength in silence. When you're silent, you like you don't have to fight every battle. Weakness ain't got nothing to do with this. It has nothing. No, this is strength. You go there and you try to fight every damn body. You get back. You got to understand one of the tactics of the devil is to put you in constant drama and his kids. That's exactly the same thing what his kids want you to do. To put yourself in constant, so they're going to manufacture drama. They're going to lie on you. They're going to talk about you in nasty ways and stuff like that. They're going to make it seem as though you're something you're not. Again, they're the king of the queen of the external. They're the king of the queen of illusions. That's what they are. And so they can create illusions and get other people to buy into it. And because you're different, other people have already bitten to the notions that they don't want to be around you anyway because you're too different. They don't like that. Okay. So it's easier that these people, they're going to jump onto the bandwagon, especially a lot of these people ain't on your side. If these people, they're going to turn on you with the quickness. A lot of people will. They will. They're just going to turn. People that you'll never expect, they will turn. You know what I'm saying? And another component is some of these people might know people be lying, but they're afraid of what other people are going to say about them. They're afraid that they're not going to get the external validation in some way, shape, or form. They're afraid to go over there and stand up for you, even though they know it's lies. So they're going to join the brigade of snakes just to go up against you. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no point in fighting. People have already condemned you. There's no point. That's not how you fight certain people. That's not how you fight certain scenarios and situations that you're in. There's a lot of people that would think, no, I need to go out there and fight. I need to fight. People look at you a goddamn fool. I'm telling you, that's what it is. People will look at you as a damn fool. A good portion of people know people are lying. They know that. They know that. That's nothing. They know people are lying and they don't care. They're just going on with what everybody else is saying. You understand what I'm saying? This is what I'm talking about. Like, people, like, if they don't like you, they just don't like you. They got a problem with you. A lot of times people ain't. The problem is not with you. It's not. And sometimes you just got to understand that that's just the situation you find yourself in. The problem is not you, but everybody coming up against you like it's you. And if you don't know who you are, you're going to believe what the external is telling you. You're going to believe what everybody else is saying. But when you stay true to who you are, you don't have to worry. You stand on God. God is the truth. God is in you. So you don't have to worry about the lies that come up against you. I ain't saying that you ain't going to go through no fire. I'm not going to say you're not going to get burnt. I'm not going to say that you don't get hurt or whatever the case may be. Like, I'm not saying that you're just going to walk through there and nothing ever is going to happen. You're going to be peachy cream. No, that stuff hurts. Have you ever been burnt? That stuff hurts. That stuff hurts a lot. But the thing at the end of the day is you won't burn up. You won't be on fire. You know what I mean? And then you'll come out looking good. You'll be good at the end of the day. It's because it's no matter what people say about you, no matter how these people try to come up against you or whatever the case may be, you stay steadfast in who you are. You stand on the truth. The truth will stand since the end of, to the end of time. People who lie a lot, they got to work around the clock to keep on keeping up these charades. They work in the illusions. These people, they never stop. They lie. You think they got to cut, when they tell one lie, they got to tell another 20 lies to cover up the last lie. And then these people be figuring their lies and then exposing their damn self. You see what I'm saying? This is where you don't go back and forth with foolish people. You don't do these things. You got to recognize that people are never going. A lot of people, they don't have the capacity to see who you are. They don't have because they don't know who they are. How could they, like, that verse or that saying, real recognize real? That's really true. They can't see your authenticity because they're not being authentic. Authentic people will see you for who you are. Real people will know who you are. They will see you. And you'll realize a lot of people, they just not real out here. A lot of people, they be afraid what everybody else is going to say about them. Again, they will reject themselves to be the crowd. And I'm not judging people because everybody does it. Everybody has done that. You know what I'm saying? So it's not about sitting there condemning people and saying, oh, people are bad. It's just the reality of the situation. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you don't sit there, if a house burns down and the fire burns every doggone thing down and stuff like that, you don't sit there and criticize the fire. No, or you don't criticize the way that everything happened and transpired. No, you understand everything happened and transpired because that's what fire does. And the very same thing, you understand how things transpired with people because that's how people are. You're not judging the people, just like you're not judging a fire that burns the house down. You're not necessarily judging the people. You understand that that's how people get down. You don't judge a dog because a dog does what it does. It barks when people come up and the dog don't know who the doggone person is. So they're trying to protect it. The dog is going to bark. You don't judge the dog for that. That's what a dog does. You don't judge a cat because they don't want to deal with you and you messing with a cat or whatever. Like you trying to whatever, and the cat scratches you in the face. You don't necessarily be mad at the cat because you understand that's how cats act. That's just how things are. In the same vein, that's just how people are. You understand what I'm saying? So you don't go in and invest your spirit into the world and think that the world is going to be like you. No, the world is going to be the world. And again, this is sometimes where you as an individual get messed up because you positively project who you are. Other people, they might negatively project who they are onto you, okay? But you might positively project. You might be looking at certain people, and sometimes in your life, you'll be staying in certain cycles with people way too long, or you stay in situations, or you keep on working out with people way too long. Is because in your head you're thinking people are like you. You're thinking just in time, they just need time. They just going through it. You have a mindset that you know when you're in that situation what you would want from people. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so you're giving that to people. And that's not a bad thing. But the bad thing is that you'll learn in time when you go through enough hell that you cannot give that energy to everybody. You gotta scope people out. You gotta see who they are. A lot of people, they'll try to change somebody in comparison to accepting people for who they are. And what I mean changing somebody is like people, they'll meet a certain individual and the person has certain characteristics, certain character traits and things of that nature. And so what a lot of people will do is instead of understanding that that's who that person is and this is their character and then making a decision based off of what that character of that person, whether or not to accept it, they understand like that person is who they are, so you can't change them. What they'll try to do is change the person. They're trying to change them, and then inevitably they'll never be able to change them, and then the person that's trying to change the other person, they're going to be ended up screwed at the end of the day. They're going to be exhausted and jaded and scarred because they was trying to change somebody. You can't change people. When you see the character of people, you can't change that. You don't make decisions based off of the external and thinking that you can change a person. When a person show you who they are, that's just what it is. Again, when you're looking at a dog, you can't change a dog and try to make a dog be a cat. You can't change a cat and try to make it be a horse. You can't change a horse and make it be an eagle. You can't. That's how you do with people. You cannot change a person. A person is going to be who they are. And with that being said, just like how you would handle a dog, just how you'll handle a horse, you use a horse for a certain reason. You interact with the horse to a certain way. You house a horse. You interact with it and you understand how to handle it because it's a horse. That doesn't mean that you cut it off completely or whatever. You understand the limitations and what that horse is. The very same thing with people. You understand what I'm saying? You don't choose, you see people's character, and now it's your choice that you either accept them or reject them, or understanding how much you're gonna take with them, but never go in trying to change them. That's only gonna end it and blow up in your face. Because people, they ain't gonna change. People gotta want to change. And that's all on them. That's all on them. You understand what I'm saying? But sometimes you positively project who you are, thinking that you can change people. You positively project thinking that, oh, if I give this person another chance, maybe they didn't know. Maybe they did, blah, blah, blah. And then you be living in a naive state because you know that you don't be doing that stuff. You know, you don't move out here in a certain type of way. And people, what they will do is, see, with people, to a large degree, they will be looking through you. Don't get me wrong. They will look through you. But in the same vein, like people who are more aware, they see the qualities and the characteristics that you do have. So don't get me wrong. And so they're manipulating those qualities and they're thinking that they're using them against you. And to a certain degree, they can be. Okay. So they still see you, but they're still looking through you, if that kind of makes sense. Because they're thinking like, oh, yeah, I can use these qualities and these traits against you. I'll use your godlike qualities and traits against you because it's foolish to use them in the very first place. So this is what a lot of times what people will do. They will see you. Just an example, like with a horse, they understand how to handle a horse. They know what the usefulness of a horse is, and they will look at you as the horse. You understand what I'm saying? And so they will try to use those qualities and those traits against you, and then you're positively projecting, not recognizing that you're dealing with a damn devil. You're dealing with a damn fool right in your face, and so it takes time to go through hell. God sometimes will allow you to go through hell so you know what the value of peace is. Once you realize what the value of peace is, you ain't going back to that doggone cycle. You ain't going back to that hell. No, absolutely not. You've been through too much hell. You know what I mean? Like when you go through enough in your life, you ain't going back. You're not going back. And so you become wiser and understanding in life that like people gonna be who they are. A person want to be a damn devil, a person, it don't matter what good you do for people. It don't matter how much you help. It doesn't matter how many kind words you speak. It doesn't matter how much you come through for people. You can help every doggone body. You can give everybody $100 million, and a lot of people still will hate your damn guts. It don't matter. Like that's just human nature, and that's just how people are. And so you make assessments based off of that. You don't positively project who you are onto other people. You learn in time. Like a lot of people, they'll use that stuff against you. They understand that you're trying to work some things out, and they're not sincere or genuine, but they'll give you lip service and stuff like that. And again, give yourself grace in the sense that you don't know everything. Everybody might not teach you everything. You just sometimes got to learn certain lessons in your life, just how it is, you know. But in general, you realize that, yeah, again, people, they're not looking at you, and you gotta. I'm telling you, you just gotta. This will save you so much anguish in your life. It's just understanding the psychology of other people. You got to look at people from the perspective of what can they get up out of you. You got to look at it from the perspective of like how are they benefiting up off of you. It will tell you a lot about why the actions that they take against you or why they're in your life, and then now you can make the decision as to whether or not you're going to keep them in your life or how much you're going to interact with certain individuals. You know what I'm saying? Like that's all on you, and that's what you got to understand. But in general, you got to understand that everybody's not going to move the same way that you move. Everybody ain't going to act like the same way that you act. Everybody don't have the mentality the same way that you do. If you're different, you're going to be very much different from everybody else. Everybody else is not going to be looking at you. They're going to be looking through you. They're going to be looking at what makes them feel better about themselves. A lot of people lack self-awareness. They lack self-awareness. They're not looking at you. They're looking through you. They will take your silence for stupidity. They will take your kindness for weakness. You take your humility for weakness. They take all that stuff for weakness. And this is why you be looking at people and you can't for the life of you understand like why somebody would try you in a certain type of way. Like it's like you clearly don't know who I am, because had you known who I really was, you would have never tried me like that. You would have never tried me. You would have never tried me. And yes, that's the thing. They don't know who you are. They don't. It's not to say that you're not telling them. It's not to say that you're over there being fake with them or nothing like that. They're not looking at you. They're looking at what they want to see. They're looking at that, and then they thinking that you think just like them. So they saying like, okay, if you silent, that means that you're stupid and that you don't get it, because they know when they silent, they don't know what's going on or they're afraid. So they think that's how you're doing it, and like it's like no, no, that's not why you're being silent, but that's how people will perceive it to be. Either you're afraid or you're stupid and you don't get what's going on. That's what they thinking. That's what they thinking. Or if you move a certain, if you might move in a humble spirit, they thinking that you don't have anything to offer, that you are just low down here and stuff like that, and they thinking that you're easily able to be. You might respect them enough to listen to what they're saying and might be following their advice. You'd be surprised how many people they'll sit there and say, "Man, people don't be listening, and people don't be like they don't listen to what I'm saying." And then you actually respect what they're saying and you listening to what they're saying, and in their head they thinking like, "Oh yeah, I got a little flunky right here." It's stupidity on so many levels. No, you humble enough to see, okay, maybe this person has a way to teach. Like maybe this person has a way of learning something. I'm willing to learn. But people, they don't look at it that way. They look at it as, oh, I got a flunky. In their head, when somebody's telling them something, like they're not about to listen to people. Their pride and their ego, I'm telling you, it blinds them to reality. They thinking they Jesus 2.0, and they ain't gonna listen to nobody else's because they think they got everything figured out. When you come in with a humble spirit and you're ready to learn, okay, maybe this person can help me. They don't take it in a space where you feel like they have something to say or whatever the case may be, and you're only doing it because of like you feel like they have something of respectable value that they can teach you or something like that. They're looking at it as this person's a flunky in my book. Like, oh yeah, it's stupidity. It's stupidity on so many doggone levels. I'm telling you, this is why these people keep on running into the graves. They don't know who you are. They don't. They're not looking at you. They're looking through you. They think that they know who you are. They think that they know how. This is why these people are so shocked when you flip the script on everybody. This is why these people are so shocked when you open up your mouth and you tell them what you know. This is why they're so shocked when you tell them and you start checking people left and right and you got evidence for days. They don't even understand. They're saying like, dang, how you get this? They don't realize you collecting evidence while you being silent. You watching people. People think you stupid and that you don't get what's going on. That you don't catch on to what they doing. They thinking these things in their damn head, so they get more bold to do whatever they doing. And then when you check everybody in the end, everybody feel like like you was playing them, you was tricking them. It's the audacity. The people that's trying to play you and trick you, thinking that you playing and tricking them. I mean, to a certain degree, you was, but it's not like in a way where you was trying to be malicious. You just watching people. People assume that you was stupid because you didn't say anything. People assume that you something because they're projecting. They're projecting who they know who they are, and they know what they would have done. But so they thinking that you're the same way, to a certain degree, or they feel like they're smarter than you and they can get over on you. To a certain degree, they feel like this. And so this is just it goes into this litany of woes where people, they need to fill their ego up. They need the external validation. And so when they're doing and they're maneuvering, like the godlike qualities and the trait, they take that as they're amazing. They're just Jesus 2.0. This is the only reason why you're coming through for them. This is the only reason why you're giving them chances. This is the only reason. No, I'm doing this because I know when I'm done with you, it's a wrap. There's no more talking. You're done in my book. It's like we wouldn't even have a conversation. I would get up and walk away. It'd be like you wake up and tomorrow it's like I never existed in your life. This is what I'm gonna do to you if you keep on. But people don't believe you got it in you. They don't know you. This is why they so shocked by you all the time. They so shocked. The only reason why they shocked is they don't know who you are. They don't get you. They think that they do, but they don't. So understand that. Peace.